Welcome to a self-published author's diary. I am Elodie Novodatsky. I write about first times, second chances, things that scare the crap out of me, and things that make me laugh out loud. I'll be speaking with you and sharing my adventures in self-publishing, the behind the scenes of writing, and the business side of it. Hello, how are you doing? I cannot believe it's almost Friday. Well, technically, I will publish this episode on Friday. You might not listen to it on Friday. The dog is snoring next to me. So if you're listening to it on Friday, happy Friday. If you're listening to it any other day of the week, happy whatever day of the week it is. The chemical engineer and I have started watching a documentary about parrots on Netflix. It's very interesting. And we just started watching the 5th season of Kim's Convenience, which dropped on Wednesday, June 2nd. We really enjoyed this show and are disappointed there won't be a 6th season. I know the actors really wanted a 6th season to happen. And I've just read what Simu Liu, the actor who plays Chong, had to say about all of this. And if you're interested into the backstory and the frustration of the cast, he mentions how their writer's room lacked both East Asian and female representation, and also lacked a pipeline to introduce diverse talents. Aside from In's, there were no other Korean voices in the room. He mentions that many in the cast were trained screenwriters and tried to have more input. There was an article in the New York Times recently explaining why Kim's Convenience is quite revolutionary, and the author of that article is Priya Krishna, explaining that in not explaining every detail of Korean food culture, the award-winning Canadian sitcom speaks volumes. That was also a very interesting article. And in terms of storytelling, Kim's Convenience is a show that I'm watching mainly without analyzing every, bit to try to see how they're managing to bring humor and tenderness and family bond and everything through the screen. But it's still definitely something that I think about when I read those articles and when I read what Simu Liu had to say about the making of the show. Going back to the topics of the day. The topics of the day will be selling my books directly to readers and revising The Leftover Bride. When I talked to N.S. Johnson last week, she talked about what it means for her to have her books available widely. Here's a quick reminder of what she said. If you haven't listened to our chat, it's the episode right before this one.
Being wide is not just being non-Kindle Unlimited. Yes, my books are on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble and Apple and Google Play and Kobo and Draft to Digital where it goes to Scribd and Hoopla. But my books are also in print widely. They're in large print widely. I have audiobooks. I'm working on translations. So I'm in programs like Radish. I'm trying to find as many places to put up my book and reach different readers as possible. Yeah. So that's what wide means to me.
And I've mentioned that I was thinking about moving some of my books to Kindle Unlimited for 3 months to see how many new readers I may gain. So you may remember when you put your books in Kindle Unlimited, they cannot be available anywhere else, which means you cannot also sell them directly. I will still do that, but I think I will do that for 3 months and then go back wide. Because being wide also means, as I said, that you can sell your books directly to readers. So this is about the Gathered CD series is the one that I'm going to put in Kindle Unlimited. All my other books are still available wide. So this is an avenue selling directly that I've started considering because I'm currently growing my mailing list with BookFunnel. On BookFunnel, you can grow your newsletter by joining other authors offering books for free. Sometimes it's even like samples. It's not full books, but mainly full books. And then every author who joins the promo sends the promo to their newsletters, and readers can join to get the book they want. They usually click on the book that they want and they add the email, and then that person then is added to your newsletter. You can also join sales promo, which is basically the same principle, but instead of getting email addresses for books that reader want to download for free, the links that they receive, send them to a sales page on BookFunnel. As I'm participating in growing your newsletter promos, I actually currently have that particular mailing list that gets a different automation when they sign up. So it's all within MailChimp. I just have a different audience for that particular sign up because it's not really a landing page that is with MailChimp. I'm pretty sure there's a way that I could add a tag to those people, but I haven't figured out. So right now they have a different audience, and once they've gone through the automation of that audience, then I move them to my main mailing list with a tag that's specific to the promo that they came from and the book that they signed up with. As part of my automation, I could definitely add a coupon for the second book in the series if readers buy the book directly from me. It also goes with the fact that one can do many things with their backlists. The newest BookBub Insights article called 8 Marketing and Sales Takeaways from US Book Show 2021 talked about the fact that backlists are major avenue generators. So the article, and I quote, and I'm putting the link into my episode's description. Because of this seismic shift, Alexandra Nichols-Jen, Director of Social Media and Digital Sales at Kensington Publishing, has been marketing books over a longer time span, sometimes a year or longer, as opposed to focusing mainly on the first 6 or 8 weeks after on sale. She says it's a different way of thinking about how a campaign is done, though she still aims to front-load her marketing budget and make a big splash on launch. She allocates her marketing budget over a longer time span to maintain momentum long after the publication date and sustain sales well into the backlist period. And that's true for self-pub books as well, meaning that while we're always advised, and it's a good advice, to make sure we write the next book, I don't think we shouldn't keep putting some time into marketing our older backlist. And that can be done in many different ways. For example, going back to BookFunnel and growing your mailing list, let's say one of your books in your backlist becomes a reader magnet, exclusive maybe, a book you offer for free for readers to join your mailing lists. You could then offer another book in the series, if it's a series, if they buy it from you directly. Or maybe offer another book with the same trope. Like, let's say you don't have like a huge series, but you have 2 books that are standalones that are about second chance romance. You offer the first one as a freebie, and the second one you offer via your newsletter with the possibility to buy directly from you. Maybe the price is slightly cheaper when they buy it from you. It doesn't have to be, but you could give them like a small incentive to buy it directly from you. And also an incentive to buy it. Meaning that, let's say you get an email and the email says, hey, it's available everywhere for $3.99, but here is a 10% coupon if you buy it directly from that store. Some people might actually be more inclined to then use it and buy it from you directly. Or you could put it at $1.99 and still get a bigger percentage than if you put it at $1.99 on Kindle, for example. Because if you put it at $1.99 on Kindle, you only get 30% of the proceed. But if you put it on your website, or if you sell it directly via a store, you get a much higher percentage. Or maybe you could survey them and you could ask them what they're in the mood to read and see if you have anything in your backlist that fits that criteria. So, you can put a little survey through MailChimp. You can put a survey without doing like the survey landing page. It can just be like a poll, and then you see who clicks on what, and then you could direct, depending on what they say. Let's say you're writing romantic suspense, but you also have a book that is with the same hit level, but is maybe more contemporary romance without the suspense. Or maybe somebody reads both. I read both. I might be in the mood to read romantic suspense one day and read contemporary romance the next day. Actually, talking about that, I surveyed my readers about last week. I was asking them if they wanted to get emails from me about everything, like all my books, or if they wanted to get emails just solely about my romantic suspense, or maybe solely about my contemporary romance. And I had one reader mention that they only wanted to get emails about my romantic suspense novels. All the other readers who answered mentioned that, they wanted to receive pretty much all emails I was sending them. But again, it's very easy to do for MailChimp. And I will add, if you're interested, if you're using MailChimp and that's something you want to look into, I will actually add the link in my episode's description on how you can add a survey without doing like the big survey landing page, which I personally will use at some point, but not right now. So anyways, so for me, offering it as a discounted price, if they buy it directly from me, would be a thank you for reading and as a way to build my relationship with the readers receiving my emails and reading my emails. Another quick side note, I went through my newsletter this week. Plato, did you hear that? He woke himself up by snoring too loud. Anyways, I went through my newsletter this week and I'm about to delete about 100 subscribers who had not opened any of my last 10 emails. And I know sometimes the open rate can be misleading, so I did send the readers on that list, like on that, I did a segment. And so on that segment, I sent them a quick email asking them to click a link if they wanted to keep on receiving emails from me. And that link was basically a page that I had created on my website that they're the only ones really seeing because I did not add it anywhere on my website. But it's just said, thanks for clicking. And yeah, that campaign had an open rate of about 6.5% and a click rate of 4.3%, which is pretty much as expected. It's way lower than my regular campaigns because, as I've said, based on MailChimp, those people have not opened emails from me in a very long time. I know, again, sometimes some open may not record, so that's why I'm asking them to click a link. I think I read that in How to Become an Author Mailing List Expert from Tammy L. Labrec. In a few days, I'll make sure to delete the people who have not clicked on the I want to stay link in the email, and that will make my opening rate when I send my next campaign higher. And I've read on some books online, I can't remember where, that apparently that also helps sometimes your delivery. I will have to check more on that. So between Mark Dawson's class talking about focusing on the newsletter, Ines mentioning every single time she sends an email, she sells books, and the books I'm currently reading on trying to superpower one's newsletter, I am also revamping my newsletter, changing a bit the way I approach my newsletter. Yeah, it's a slow process, but it's a process. So the one thing I need to keep in mind as I'm diving into all these different projects is to make sure I divide each big tasks into smaller manageable tasks. Creating that store, for example, for the first 2 products I'm going to put on there are going to be A Summer Like No Other audiobook and the Always Second Best ebook. That's not going to happen in only one day. Like, I've started the process, but I haven't finished it. And it's not happening in one day because I'm still revising almost every day. And I also had a deadline for my freelance part-time research job and other things to do on my to-do list. I decided to go with PayHip and BookFunnel for my direct selling to readers. So the BookFunnel blog mentioned PayHip, like it had different options that they worked with. And I also noticed this is the site that Enes used on her website. I did a bit more research and landed on a video and blog article by The Creative Pen, How to Sell Ebooks and Audiobooks Direct with PayHip and BookFunnel. I'm linking to that article, which has, again, the video, because really she has everything covered from how to set it up and why and things to keep in mind. And one of the things she mentions is that to remember that if the readers buy directly from you, it's not going to change your ranking on Amazon or other e-retailers because, yes, it's a sell, but it's not a sell that will move your ranking. I think that's kind of like making you decide, right, how you want to go about it, because we know that a sell helps with the ranking. If the ranking is higher, usually more people might see your books and all of that. But I think that really matters if you're trying to get much higher. And like, I don't know, for me right now, I am thinking that I want to build that relationship with my newsletter subscribers. Those books that I'm currently offering are technically, well, Always Second Best is definitely one of my backlist titles. And A Summer Like No Other audiobook is newer, but it's based on A Summer Like No Other, which is one of my backlists. I feel like maybe it might help me gain more contact with my newsletter subscribers. It might also gain me a bit, like a few more readers for the next books. So we'll see. What is taking me the longest isn't to get my store ready. It is to, or it was because I just finished that, to update Always Second Best before putting it up. I had a few things to update in the book, in the back matter, and I need to have a better process for that. So what is my goal with selling directly to readers? So as I've said, my goal is to A, build a relationship with some of my readers in the sense that they see that they get cool things by being subscribers to my newsletter. Or maybe they get more perks, or maybe they see that I'm trying. Like, I don't know. I'll tell you again if it works. B is to also make an extra $10 a month at the beginning. So within the first 2 months in June and July, I'd like to make $10 with my direct selling of books. And then make an extra $30 every month starting in August. So how will I go about it? What is my plan? I'm going to update my website to ensure that it's clear people can buy books directly from me. And I'm going to add more books. So like in June, I'm focusing on Always Second Best and Summer Like No Other audiobook. Then later, I will add other books that I could sell directly that are not on Kindle Unlimited. As I've mentioned, I will focus on Always Second Best as an onboarding sequence for readers who join from BookFunnel with A Summer Like No Other, as well as with readers who sign up to receive exclusive scenes from A Summer Like No Other. I'm clear on BookFunnel that A Summer Like No Other is also available for free on all e-retailers, so that's not something that I'm hiding, and I know I need a reader magnet that's exclusive, and I'm going to work on it. But in addition, when you're joining my newsletter, you also get plenty of exclusive bonus scenes and other things. So the first email from the onboarding sequence will be the exclusive scenes, plus the discount code to buy Always Second Best directly from me, plus a code for the discount for the Summer Like No Other audiobook. Because I know some people like to listen, they could gift it to somebody else. Like, this will be something that I'm going to be drafting. I will remind them in subsequent emails on the onboarding sequence, because another email that my readers get is then the code to have exclusive access to one page on my website, which is full of bonus content. There are limitations and there is research I need to do with all of this. As I've mentioned, I currently cannot put my Gabbard CD series because it will be for 3 months in Kindle Unlimited. I'm finishing redesigning the covers for them. Like, I have the the Fear Me Not cover redesigned and the See Me Not cover redesigned. I still need to redesign the Trust Me Not cover. While the PayHip store is available in many languages, and that's great. So I could try to do the same with my French books. For example, I could offer the French version of A Summer Like No Other as a reader magnet and then do an onboarding sequence for the French version of Always Second Best. But BookFunnel is not available in French. And one of the positive aspects of using BookFunnel is that, based on also on the creative pen, because I'm going to follow the way she's doing it, is that they handle possible customer issues. Let's say if somebody cannot download your ebook, then they can get help from them. It's still quite a few things to figure out. So if you've ever sold directly to readers or have any insight or happy experiences, don't hesitate to share them with me. You can send me an email at author.elodie@gmail.com. Novodatsky is Nowod as dog Azkij. Or you can also go to my website and leave me a comment. You can leave me a voicemail. There's a link in this episode's description as well as on my website. My website is www.elodienovodatsky.com. And before I go into the next segment of this episode, which is called Struggles and Smiles, quick info that I do have now a YouTube channel, which is called A Self-Published Author's Diary. And I also have an Instagram, which is called A Self-Published Author's Diary. My goal with the YouTube channel is to put the episodes that I've already recorded on it. I don't know if that's something sometimes, and also to put excerpts. So if you're looking for something, for example, about what Anna said about selling widely, I will have the excerpts on my YouTube channel. And now a short message from our sponsor. Stay tuned. After, you'll be hearing about the struggles and smiles of my week as a self-published author. So now for struggles and smiles. I think the main struggle this week was feeling sometimes like I did not accomplish enough or did not organize myself well enough, even though, as I explained, I did accomplish a whole lot of things, but I did not finish my revision. Granted, I was not planning on finishing my revision, meaning that I made a plan for the week, and my week did not say, you're going to finish the revision. It was a very sensible and very good plan, which was about how many chapters can I revise per day based on the amount of time that I have and that I can make sure I carve out for the revision. And so I followed the plan. Don't get me wrong. But I still I don't know, I just want to have this revision done. I did not, I started adding the things to my store on PayHip and via BookFunnel, but I haven't done all of it because, as I said, I cannot do it all in one day. And sometimes I feel like I need to do everything all the time at once, quick and efficiently, and accomplish everything. And I pride myself at being very efficient and at being very fast on certain things and on having a process for others. But clearly, I still need a process, for example, for the back matter. I still need to be a bit better organized when it comes to updating some info in my books and other things. And I still did a whole lot this week. Oh, and before I go into those details about why I think time is of the essence, or however you want to call it, please note that I'm about to talk about cancer and cancer-related feelings. And I know from my own experience that sometimes you just don't want to hear about cancer-related stuff. So if that's the case for you, feel free to fast forward. I think it's about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to be on the safe side. And yeah, just wanted to let you know that. But I think honestly, and because this is a diary, so dear diary, part of this relationship with time may be due to all the treatments I've received. And when getting diagnosed, I felt like the rug was swept right from under my feet. I mean, when I was, diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in October 2017, I had to stop pretty much everything professionally because I ended up at the hospital. And I started my chemotherapy treatments at a hospital because the mass in my chest was so large that they were afraid for me. I had a surgeon, doing the biopsy who told me I could not sleep before the biopsy. I could not lay down. I was not allowed to lay down because they were afraid that the mass would push on my airways. So, that meant that I stopped teaching. When I got diagnosed, I was teaching at a community college. I was teaching German. And I managed to teach from home, I think, until I went to the hospital at the end of October, got my first chemo, 2017, got my first chemo before Halloween because I was back home for Halloween 2017. So I think I was still doing some stuff online in October and October and November, but then I pretty much had to quit. And that was hard. And when it comes to my writing, I didn't write for quite a while. I wasn't active on, and I'm still not super active on social media, but it felt like, I was starting to maybe have more readers read my books, especially in France. I had a lot of readers. And then in France, I had one of my translators who basically stopped translating one of my books, never replied to me. So I had to undo my pre-order. I had to take away my pre-order for the French version of Fear Me, Fear Me Not. At the time I did that, I had quite a few pre-orders and I lost all of them. And then I had to redo that, find another translator to finish the work that she had started. And I had worked with that translator before, and I tried to find out if she was okay. I don't know. I've never heard from her again. But, when that translator did finish the translation of Fear Me, Fear Me Not, I had re-put it up for pre-order, but I had less pre-order than the first time around. And I didn't have necessarily the strength or the stamina or the time to do an entire marketing, marketed on Facebook like I did for A Summer Like No Other in French, or Always Second Best in French, or, I was very busy with treatments, and I was very busy with getting a second opinion, getting a third opinion, changing treatment centers. Like I went from Johns Hopkins to the University of Maryland. It was a very busy time, and all that to say that my relationship with like how much I need to do and how much I need to accomplish might have something to do with that. And that's something I probably should talk to my therapist about a bit more. I have, but which, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, and I don't know if I've said that before, but pretty much all my characters go to therapy. That was yes, Plato. But anyways, now what made me smile? I did smile revising. I stayed in the moment as I made quite a few sentences shine. And my two critic partners and I are exchanging snippets of our stories in Google Chat to encourage each other and also have some accountability. And I may have sent them 3 or 4 versions of what I'm about to read to you. And maybe in the future I'll do a post and maybe a video about the transformation of those sentences. So are you ready for a snippet of The Leftover Bride? Which, as a quick reminder, is available for pre-order for only 99 cents on all e-retailers, and you can add it on Goodreads. So here's the snippet. Ryan Sawyer and I together are like those designs I think will be absolutely perfect, but I can't seem to get right. I spend hours adding a line here, erasing a line there, hoping that by one magic stroke of my favorite pencil I might make them work. But more often than not, no matter how much time I spend and no matter how I can still picture them in my mind, I can't fix them on paper. And no matter how much I love them, I put them away because that's what's best for me. But no one ever said that was easy. Letting those designs go, nothing compared to Ryan Sawyer skating away all those years ago, leaving me behind and stretching the thin but resilient fabric of my heart until it tore apart. I put a patch over it by moving forward, but I'm not sure I ever stitch it back together. And yeah, I love it. I mean, this book, I'm having so much fun with this book. So this was my week, my diary, my struggles and my smiles, and well, some of my smiles and some of my struggles, or rather some of my struggles and some of my smiles, and a little behind the scenes on trying to set up my store to sell directly to readers and my goals with that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I still have, at this point in time, it's on June 3rd as I'm recording this, and there is a giveaway until next week for a book by N.S. Johnson or a book by Shanae Johnson. And the links are on the show's description and my website. As always, if you have any questions about self-publishing or my books, don't hesitate to leave me a voicemail, to send me an email. I'll be happy to answer them. I have a few I'm going to be answering next week. And I will have a Feature Friday pretty soon again. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to hit subscribe, follow, leave a review. That's, as always, very, very helpful. And happy writing if you're a writer. And to everyone, happy reading.